right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We had a week hiatus, but we are back on the K and.
Oh, show.
All right. So let's we'll get right down to it. I don't think me and Owen will be on here long today because there's not a lot to talk about with the college football playoff games as far as excitement or anything like that. We will go back. Let's talk about that Army-Navy game. What'd you think about it, Big O?
I barely got to watch it because I was at a friend's house, but I just saw the score and I was really surprised.
You thought Army would win?
I thought Army was going to blow them out.
Me and you both. I thought Daly was going to take over that game, but Navy came out and.
Navy had Army threw three interceptions. Right?
Yes, yeah, he did. Army had 3 picks. Was you surprised by the play of the Navy quarterback?
Yeah, I apparently he's
pretty good.
Yeah.
So he had 100 and a little bit over 100 yards passing, over 200 yards rushing. I forget how many touchdowns. I mean, kid did it all. I mean, he was pretty amazing. So hats off to Navy. And we actually have 2 of our athletes that we train are in the Navy. So Sam Floyd and just accepted Navy offer the day was John Floyd. So really, really pumped for those guys. Really happy about that. That they got the win, but like Big O said, I was surprised. I could not really believe it. Thought Army would win that one. Moving on. So we got into our first ever college football playoff with 12 teams. Before we start that, Big O, do you think the committee got it right? Do you think there would have been who else would you have put? Would you have kept SMU in, or would you have put somebody else in?
So the way that Alabama has been treated all these years, being put in the playoffs,
Sure.
like for 10 years straight, whatever.
Sure.
I think they should stay out since they lost to Oklahoma.
Good point.
Lost to Vanderbilt.
Good point. Who's ended up being like 6-6.
Which I think SMU should have stayed.
So keep SMU,
Yeah.
okay? Well, they'd only lost a couple games there. Lost to Clemson in the ACC championship barely, and then they had the loss to BYU, but BYU was solid, all year. So SMU over, and I didn't think Bama should be in after the Oklahoma loss. That was tough. That was a tough pill to swallow. Definitely didn't think Ole Miss would be in, but however, it's funny that Ole Miss's coach is the loudest person out there right now, and kind of a slight on your Cats, but I mean the Cats beat them at their house, and then they had another bad loss. I mean, Ole Miss, if you didn't want to get left out, then don't lose the games you shouldn't have lost. Win the SEC, another one. So a lot of people's going to be complaining, griping, and I heard yesterday and I saw on the internet so many people were mad about all this stuff. I would like to say, give it a couple more years here so they can figure this out. Everybody's been chiming for a playoff system forever. They give us one, and then all you guys want to do is complain. Now, I understand. Most people out there, all you want to do is complain anyways, which is fine. Do what you want. But for me, I loved it. I love that we've got a playoff. I love we've got this in. I don't care if we have some blowouts. Look anywhere. Does anybody, Big O, would you get mad if UK's a number 1 seed in March Madness and they beat the number 16 team by 80? No, you're not mad a bit. So to me, it's a little bit of the same. Your number 12 is not going to be as good as your number 1. They shouldn't be, or there's no reason to rank teams. So, yes, now you had your Indiana, who had 1 loss to Ohio State. Well, they played in the Big Ten. The Big Ten had some good talent. Now, you can say Indiana did not have a tough schedule. They did not. So I do think strength of schedule's got to come in and play somewhere. But, so Indiana, they lose by 10. It was really not that close. Notre Dame, I felt like, smashed them right out of the gate. Didn't you, Big O?
Yeah.
Did you think Indiana might make a comeback at any point?
No.
Yeah.
I think their coach is a little too sassy. Yeah.
He is sassy. He was he talked a lot of smack, but also, I think that when you take over a team like Indiana, and you said it, in your lifetime, you've never known Indiana to be any good in football, right? Okay. And your lifetime now is longer than it was 2 weeks ago. So now you're whopping 13. So Signetti, I think, is trying to push his team to have a little swagger. So I don't mind that. I don't mind him talking, his team up, especially somebody like, an Indiana. But they did get, they got handled. Notre Dame, every facet, of the game, they pretty much, I thought they handled. So 27-17, Notre Dame wins. I am not naive enough to think that Notre Dame is going to go on and win it all. There's some people out there saying, "Oh man, if this Notre Dame team shows up," I don't think so. I don't think they can. I think there's 3 or 4 teams better than Notre Dame.
Who do they play next? Georgia?
Well, so now we got.
Yeah, they play Georgia.
They've got to play Georgia next, and we'll do our picks here in just a minute on that. But moving on to Penn State, SMU. Not a lot to say other than don't throw a pick. Considering he threw 2 pick sixes, which
that just.
Have we seen that all year, Big O? I don't know if we've seen that all year. I mean, we've watched a lot of football.
I've seen 1, not 2.
Right, 2, and back to back,
in a row.
Yeah, crazy. So Penn State defense, hats off to you. You were playing lights out yesterday. SMU was playing checkers, and you guys are playing chess. I mean, basic way I can put it. We won't spend a lot of time on it because I still think Penn State's a phony, but they get to play SMU. No disrespect to SMU, but Penn State had probably, out of all the teams, I thought they had the easiest path. Now they go to play Boise. Again, I'm not trying to diss Boise, and I know people are going to be like, "Oh, they got Ashton Jeanty." Yeah, what's going to happen? If they stop him and then they let this pass rush go, Big O, what's going to happen then?
I barely seen Boise pass the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's not checked down.
Sure.
But, I don't know what to expect, but I don't think it'll be good for Boise.
Yeah, I feel like we both said, I said it the first year that Penn State was a phony. You said Missouri was a phony. You were right. I'm looking wrong right now because Penn State is still moving on. But I still believe they had that really easy path. They're going to be exposed eventually, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Probably our closest game of the night was probably Texas and Clemson.
Yeah, it didn't look close.
No,
It didn't look close in the
it
first
didn't. It got close. Third quarter, Clemson made a push. They got within 7, but it was. I still didn't feel like Clemson was ever gonna take this game over. I felt like Texas had it in hand. What the kid Blue?
Jaden Blue.
Yeah, he had 2 big runs.
Yeah, one of them, which basically put in the game, put him up 14, ran like 78 yards.
Yes,
Like
so that was huge because they had just come down. Clemson had all the momentum, had scored, put them within 7.
and then
Boom.
Yeah.
See ya. Kid just takes off. So Texas defense, I thought, played well. Hats off to Cade Klubnik. I think that kid probably played the best game I've seen him play all year. When you say Big O, I mean, he's gotten better the last few last few weeks. I feel like he played his best game, but Texas was just too much for him. Played a really well fought game all the way to the end, but Texas, man, it was just a little too much for him. Last game of the night, and Big O and I were excited about this game because we thought 2 good defenses. It's going to be a slobber knocker. It's going to be head to head. That's what we thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Big O, how many fans? What was the percentage of fans from Tennessee in the Big House?
It was roughly 40.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, the Horseshoe. Sorry, I say fans.
The percentage of Tennessee fans in there was 43%, which was insane.
43% in the Horseshoe.
Yeah.
Wow. Ohio State lost to Michigan. That was the last time we saw Ohio State, correct? Big O looked at me last night and said, "How in the world did this team lose to Michigan?" That is the trick. That's probably why Ryan Day was, expected to get fired, right, Big O?
Which is stupid.
Well, yeah, Big O said it. Ohio State fans, hope you're listening. Big O said it's stupid for you all to think about firing Ryan Day. I know we hear all these talking heads like Paul, what's that girl's name? Paul Feinbaum. He's, anyways, not a Paul fan, spits a lot of rhetoric. He has an ESPN talking head, so he's told what to say. Cute. Anyways, Ohio State, best team in the country, I think. I've said it first of the year. How'd they lose to Michigan? It just happens. Things like that happen.
Plus, it's a rivalry. So.
Yep, big rivalry. Did you think Tennessee had a chance to win this game before the game started?
I thought especially their defense, I thought they could, do something.
Yeah.
At least, I thought it was going to be close.
Mm-hmm.
Not a blowout, 49-17, which is not usual for the Volunteers.
No.
Which makes the SEC look.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes Lane Kiffin look a little bad now. So I think the total was, it was 42-17. I think it was the final score. I don't think it's 49.
Yeah.
I think it's 42. But it could have been.
Yeah.
Big O's he's already given them another touchdown because Ohio State just scored again. Tennessee's had one of the top defenses in the country all year. Hadn't given up 20 points through 8 games. I thought you're going to have Ohio State defense versus their defense, low scoring affair, cold weather. Who's going to run the ball better? And Ohio State did everything better. How about the pass, the very first touchdown pass?
That was just. What's the quarterback's name? Will
Howard.
Yeah.
Howard dropped one in there, didn't he? It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was just.
Well,
and
then
the second pass.
the second it wasn't a touchdown, but it was to Abuka.
Yeah.
And Owen and I were like, how did he get that in? It was crazy. He was on fire last night.
It was perfect defense too.
Yes, their defense was. I've never seen Nico for Tennessee run so much. Sampson was banged up. He didn't come in and play. So now you've got your best SEC running back out, and then they're having to put in freshmen. So it was tough on Tennessee, but even with, man, I don't know. They were just. Ohio State was on another level last night.
You have to give respect to the linemen because how much time Will had was insane.
Yep, he did.
I saw on SportsCenter this morning. It said he had roughly 9 seconds on time.
Yeah,
just to look around.
I'm pretty sure I can complete a check down in 9 seconds, but you just complete domination from Ohio State after everyone had talked about how poor they're coached, how bad a team they are, how underachieving they are, all this other stuff. So now we'll see. Moving on now to the real excitement, our picks. So we're going to have Texas versus Arizona State, Big O. Who do you think wins that?
Texas has a good defense, but I don't think they can hold Scadaboo. I'm going to say Scadaboo goes for 5 rushing touchdowns, and Arizona State pulls it off.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Big O coming out hot.
Yeah.
Coming out on fire. Picking Arizona State over the Longhorns right now today. I like it. All right. I'm going to say Texas is going to be a little too much for Arizona State. I think their pedigree will wear them down late fourth quarter, maybe a win by 10, something like that. Love Arizona State, but I just don't think they're ready for that level. Moving on now to to me, this will be the game. This could be the national championship. Ohio State versus Oregon. First game, Oregon wins by 1 with Will Howard making a mistake or coaching mistake, call it whatever you want. But little mistake there at the end of the game. Who wins that one, Oregon or Oklahoma State? They're playing at the Rose Bowl. Oklahoma State. Oregon versus Ohio State. I don't even know who's playing.
It was really close last time. Wasn't it at Oregon?
At Oregon.
31-32.
Yep.
So I'm saying Ohio State,
pulls it out?
I think they
Okay.
got it.
So this will be in California. So this is more of an Oregon home game than it is Ohio State. But said Ohio State at the first of the year whenever we started this show, and I threw up in my mouth because I can't stand the Suckeyes. It's not really anything that I like about them. Even my friends in Ohio, I hate you during football season because you're Suckeye fans. But I feel like the Suckeyes are going to end up somehow getting it done against Oregon. Hard to beat a team twice, a really good team twice. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So me and Big O both are picking Ohio State over Oregon. We both could be wrong because Oregon they're good. They're really good. Going on to Penn State versus Boise State. Big O's kind of told you what he thinks, but go again, Big O. Who's winning that one?
Like I said, Penn State has a good defense. If they stop Genty from having a legacy game, then I think they'll win pretty easily. I'm say by 17.
I don't know how good Boise State's defense is, and can they hold up against these big offensive linemen at Penn State where they like to, lean on you and run the ball. Drew Aller's a big athletic quarterback. He can make some plays. I think Penn State has just got way too much for Boise. I think Boise's outmatched in this. Penn State's going to move on, even though it hurts my soul to say that because I think they're fake. Here's the big one. Here's a good one. This is a very intriguing game, Big O, because I'm going to give you some stuff here. Notre Dame coming off a dominant win against Indiana. Quarterback's healthy. Running backs look good. Defense looks lights out. Now they're going to play a Georgia team that has just limped by opponents. The last 2 or 3 games, had an 8 overtime game against Georgia Tech. Had a tough game against Texas. Quarterback is probably out. Beck's not in. They're going to have to start their second string kid. Who wins that? That's going to be a tough one.
Notre Dame. Notre Dame doesn't have a conference, right? They're
No conference, no. But they play. They're
play
kind of
big
all
teams.
over. They do.
They don't have Carson Beck, but Stockton, he's a winner. So I'm gonna say Georgia wins it.
Okay, going with Georgia. This is an SEC household, no doubt. We love the SEC and we love the SEC in football. With that being said, go Dogs. I don't see Notre Dame beating Georgia. I think they're just too much for them. I wish I could do the whole Pat McAfee thing, where, what's that sound coming down the tracks, but we don't have a big audience behind us to scream and yell about it. So, all right, now starting to kind of wave in because we're going to start weaving a little bit of college basketball and college football together. Less college football, of course. So the only game we're doing last night is the only one we need to do. Well, Big O, give us a report on your Cats last night in Madison Square Garden.
I'm not too mad at Kentucky. They shouldn't have. If they lost small, I wouldn't have been mad. But they lost by 20 to a 7 and now an 8-4 team. But they were 7-4. They lost to Maryland and Auburn by 50. They didn't lose to Maryland by 50, but they lost to Auburn by 50, which isn't unless Auburn's really good. But I'm not too mad, but I'm not too happy. So.
Well, I didn't figure you would you'd be very happy about that. But what did you?
All I'll say is they played too much one-on-one. Tell them too much one-on-one.
Our background crew here. Now Owen did say it's a good loss. Didn't you think?
Yeah, I think Kentucky needed that.
Need to get? You think they're getting a little big-headed?
Yeah, I think they needed that.
Okay.
To lose by a really experienced, we're experienced too, but a team that's been together for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that.
Yeah, because you guys haven't been together very long.
We've been together for
9-10 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he didn't have a team at the start of the season.
That's kind of how we felt about Aaron Bradshaw.
No. I hate
So-
Bradshaw.
Well, he played
No.
well. Bradshaw
Did
played
Bradshaw play good for Ohio State?
Yeah, of course he does.
Didn't play good for Kentucky last year. Now,
No.
listen, do you think that is how Cal played him?
That's Cal's fault.
Okay.
Bradshaw, he deserved better at Kentucky, and I'm glad that he's at a place that he can, just settle in and
Mm-hmm.
play some good basketball.
What did he do last night for Ohio State that he didn't do for Kentucky last year?
He was rough.
Okay. Played physical?
Yeah, he played really physical.
Yeah.
He actually set good screens.
Okay.
He rolled,
Yeah.
and really, he just looked way better.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. Like I said, I was going to do a short show. Here we are, 20 minutes in, but that's okay. We try to keep these short for you guys. Also, quick shout out. If you guys are not subscribed to Larry Satchwell on YouTube, you need to do it. Larry Satchwell is got amazing videos from carpentry, from canning, gardening, home remedies. He's got it all on there. So check Larry Satchwell out on his YouTube channel, because Larry's got a lot of really cool stuff on there, especially if you're kind of an outdoorsy, farming, gardening, canning kind of person. Larry's your dude. Larry is your guy. All right, we're going to end with Big O trying to make this shot behind us here.
I need it.
All right, if he hits this, I need everyone to send 1 penny. So all 15 of you, so Owen will have 15 cents if he hits this shot. Here we go. Drum roll. Oh, so close, so close. All right, maybe next week. You guys have a good one. Big O says, keep it real.